Hi everybody, my name's Mark Pulver. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming in today to this event. Everybody's got a story to tell, and here's my story. I was born in 1958 with with a little minimal brain damage. I was not functioning at a regular level like everybody else was. I was taken into doctors to try to figure out what was wrong with me. The doctors said give him a little bit more time, so they did. At 5 years old, I was still not speaking, so mother looked for some places that I could go to try to figure out what was going on with me. So mother found this place in Baltimore, Maryland. John Hopkins was supposed to be the best doctors in the country. I went through different batteries of tests while I was there for a couple days, and after it was all done and said, it was recommended by their physicians that I be institutionalized. Well, fortunately for my mother, she had other ideas for me rather than that. So she took me out of that godforsaken place, went back home, and started investigating other doctors. Now, back then in 1968, there was no internet. There was no iPod or other means of looking things up other than asking around or going to the library and getting some books and doing research on my condition. So mother did eventually find something, a place in Philadelphia called the Institute of
No problem. No problem.
uh, the, the the Institute for the Achievement of Human Potential. So I did a lot of tests there, different batteries of tests there, and figured out, the physicians figure out exactly what needed to be done with me. So for about 3 years, I was given a series of exercises that I did on a timely basis each and every day. Some for the circulation for my brain, motor skills, speaking, and I was limited to 24 ounces of fluids a day because it helped the blood flow to my brain. And so I did that for a number of 3 years, and eventually I began to progress, and then I stopped going to the doctors. Well, I still had a lot of problems in my adolescence. I still was not where I should be, but I just kept on working and going to private schools and doing and just living everyday life and doing the best that I could possibly do. But I was just determined that I was going to make it. I was not really good socially. I didn't know how to conduct myself socially, and it was very hard because by a lot of other kids I was not so socially accepted. But I did have a few friends, but I just kept on going about my daily life, and eventually I did go to a regular high school. I took some regular classes and some special ed classes, and then at the end I decided that I just didn't want to settle for a certificate of attendance. I actually wanted to get my diploma, so I studied hard at the end, and I got my high school diploma. From there, I entered the working world, got a job as a dishwasher, and then as a pantry guy, and then as a cook at the International House of Pancakes for a couple of years, and then I went to work for Burger King.
Mark, what's the name of the book that you wrote?
Living Life with Autism: The World Through My Eyes.
And why did you decide you wanted to write this book?
Well, because in 2007 I was tested for insurance purposes, and then while I was being tested, I was told about this book that was some interesting reading. Temple Grandin had written a book and did a documentary on her life, and I thought it was very interesting. She had a story to tell. Well, so did I, and I just was discovered that I had autism, and then I just decided I'm going to write a book and tell my story, so that's exactly what I did.
Great. What are the different types of autism? Are there different types?
There are, but I'm not able to tell you what the different types are because I'm not a physician.
Okay. How old were you when you started speaking?
5 years old.
How did you communicate before then?
Let me think.
Sure.
Just probably, I think, just by hand gestures and sounds and looks of frustration.
And what did you find helped you most as you were growing up?
Well, one thing that helped me is the inspiration of my mother and the charge that she put into me that I want to do better, I want to succeed, even though the road was hard and it was very tough to achieve. I wasn't going to not achieve it. I wasn't going to give up. I had that inner drive in me that kept me going and to bring me to where I am today.
Here's a question people sometimes ask. Does autism affect men more than it affects women?
Yes, it does. I've been told that it does. No, well, some women do have it, but the percentile of the men is about more, maybe 70 to 30, that the men have it.
And what advice would you give to a parent who has an autistic child?
Don't give up on them. They can do what they want to. You just have to give him the charge, that yearning to want to do it. Give him encouragement and tell him that autism is not a dead end. It's just a roadblock. The hill may be a little bit steeper. You just have to give it a little bit more the incline, excuse me.
Good. You touched on this before, but did you have any special schooling along the way?
Yes, I did. I went to private school in the early 70s, and I did have some private tutoring.
And how did you handle things like peer pressure when you were in high school?
I just basically turned inward. It bothered me. Sometimes I acted out, but I don't think I handled it very well. That period of time, it was very tough. For example, getting on the bus to go to school, kids would not let me on the bus. Teacher had to pull the bus over and tell somebody to move over and let me sit down. It was very tough for me.
Did you meet anyone in high school that became a friend that you still know today?
Yes, a couple people. My cousin Jeff on my father's side, who lives in LA, and my friend Jonathan, who has been deceased for a couple of years now.
Well, let's ask an important question. Where can we get your book?
You can get my book on Google Books, Amazon.com, and it's on the Nooks at Barnes & Noble.
Another question for you. Are you a good cook?
Oh, I'm fair, I would say. I like to put around the kitchen. I'm no Emerald Lagasse or Bobby Flay, but I'm an okay cook.
How important was your mom in helping you as you grew up autistic?
Words can't really describe how important she was. She was extremely important. She was a key element in my life to help get me to where I am at the point today.
Were you ever on any kind of special medication for your autism?
I was at a younger age. I don't remember what, but I was on some medication.
And how about nutrition? Did you have any kind of special diet that you adopted?
Actually, yes. It's called eating right and trying to stay healthy.
Okay, good answer. What kind of influence did your dad have as you were growing up?
Oh, he was a loving, doting father. He's always, no matter how bad the chips were down with me, he would always be there with a helping hand, and he would try to encourage me the best that he knew how.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I've got two brothers.
Two brothers? How did you get along with them?
I was okay, but I was closer to one more than the other. But I guess okay.
Okay. Did you find that you had any particular problem expressing yourself?
very much so. I was not able to communicate my feelings across, and it was both frustrating for both my parents and myself.
I see that you have a special pin that you're wearing on your shirt. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, this pin is for autism awareness. It's a piece of a puzzle that's missing, and it's called Autism Awareness. And every month in April, they have Autism Awareness Month. Here's the pin.
Good. You have some big plans for how you want to help promote autism
Okay.
awareness. Tell us about those.
Okay, well, one thing is by what I just did by publishing the book and doing public speaking and giving encouragement and enlightening to others, and let them know that what I went through, anything can be achieved, no matter what the severity is of their autism or Asperger's, but anything they want to in life can be achieved. And the example is on my book, Living Life with Autism, The World Through My Eyes.
Mark, you're a member of a group called CARD, C-A-R-D. What can you tell us about that?
Well, it is a group for autism and Asperger's. It is a group where people on the spectrum like myself get together once a month, talk about issues, whether or not at home or at work. They play games, watch movies, and just interact in different things and different activities. And sometimes on the outside, some activities will be planned, and that's what it's all about.
Final question, Mark. What's the one thing you would say to a young person growing up with autism?
I would tell them, please, don't give up the fight. You can do it. Don't let autism overtake you. You overtake it. That's what I tell them.
Thank you, Mark. You're an inspiration.
Thank you.